And before talking about happiness, I'll just tell you a bit brief for people who may be a bit curious. What is this RX for resilience? Why did I come across this name? So, as you very rightly pointed out, for doctors, we always use the symbol RX before starting the prescription. Like, for example, if we start with an antibiotic, an antacid, or whatever, first we'll write RX. And as a doctor for last, I would say 25 or 30 years, this has been my standard practice. But this book, this title RX for Resilience is something other than my usual prescriptions for, for health and as a gastroenterologist for their gastro diseases. So this one actually, as people who will be reading about it in the book and will be talking about, there was an incident which happened and which made me ponder deeply about life, what is the truth, what is happiness, and all these things. And that is what I've outlined in several chapters in the book. And what my main aim and my humble motive was that through whatever I have understood, the insights that I have got, I would like to share how we can lead a more resilient and a happy life. Everyone, all of us, you, me, all the listeners, we all face various challenges in our lives. And they can be of any form. Some maybe minor challenges, some may be real tragedies or, catastrophic incidences. But as humans, we always want to, and we have the tendency to bounce back. And the book is all about how I bounced back and how I feel we can all bounce back. And when we talk about resilience or well being, I think the most important thing is about happiness. You know, um, all of us, I think, not even one person can be excluded. All of us have one aim in our life. Whatever we are doing, our final aim is to be happy. You'll agree with this, that whatever you're doing, I'm a doctor, you have the podcast, and people may be having so many different jobs. Someone is a businessman, someone is a teacher. I think at the end of the day, whatever we are doing, the final outcome is we are searching for happiness in one way or the other. And that is why, from a very, I would say, from an early age, I have been really fascinated and quite passionate about knowing about happiness. And whatever I would try to read and understand would be there. But of course, during my medical days, everything was all academics and all, and these, grew down under the list of other important things to do. But when this particular incident happened, it really shook me, and I wanted to know what is all the what is happiness and what are we seeking for and how can we attain it. And in the chapter on happiness, I've described one incident which is very part of the incident is most of people know about it, but the other part, not too many know. We all know, everyone knows about Abhinav Bindra, and he was our first Olympic archery championship,
Yeah,
who won the first gold.
yeah,
And he gave a very interesting interview later on. He said that from childhood, his dream was to attain the gold medal. But once after he got that landmark, and there was a lot of euphoria and lot of celebration and lot of joy. But months after that, he went into depression. And what he analyzed later, he took therapy and counseling. And what he analyzed later is that since right from childhood, his aim was to seek happiness, and finally he sorry, this Olympic gold. And finally, when he achieved this goal, he was very happy. But after that, it seemed as if there was no other purpose in his life because he had been aiming for that thing which he thought would give him ultimate happiness. And it gave him for a few weeks or months. But after that, it seemed as if he had no other, ambition or no other goal. And what he, in fact, he gave a very beautiful statement that we should have all our dreams and desires, but we need to make happiness as our gold medal. That is the thing we need to really aspire for. And then, whatever we do will bring us to happiness. So that was a very beautiful statement. And it shows that what happens is, you'll agree that very often we have been taught that, we have to achieve certain things, whether it is a dream job or money or a relation and whatever. And we have been taught that once we achieve that, then automatically happiness is going to be ours. But this formula, we can call it, is actually flawed. And this was very well pointed out. I've quoted Sean Acker, the author of the book Happiness Advantage, where he says that when we are making success as our goal, and we have been brought up to believe that once we are successful, happiness will automatically follow. Actually, this is a kind of a myth, because we know so many successful people who are not really happy. So what we need to do is to make happiness our goal. And the each moment in the journey is actually important, not just one particular distant future oriented goal. And what I started discovering is that, like, for example, in my life also, right from childhood, I was a very good student. So I was taught that, okay, you do. So I got selected into my MBBS. Then after that, I decided to pursue MD. Then after that, super specialization in gastro, DM, and I got all these. And when this particular incident happened, it kind of shook me, because I was thinking that once I achieve all this, then, life will just be all very happy and good. But here I underwent a lot of feelings, emotions, and sadness also. So that was what was motivating me to find out about happiness. And one very good material which I got was by Sonja Lubriansky, and she is a researcher on happiness. And what she found was, and what I've quoted in the book also, is a very interesting thing, that there is a genetic set point of happiness. You will see that there are some people, whatever happens, they are fairly happy. You know, then there are some people, however much they achieve, however successful they are generally, they come back to that same, kind of gloomy state. So she says that there is a genetic happiness set point, and if we make a pie chart, 50% is our genetic condition. We are kind of brought up with that. And whatever happens in life, you will generally come back to that set point. So that's really a very large figure. 50% of our happiness is kind of genetically determined. But that should not make us, feel very worried as if, okay, everything is predetermined. That's 50%. Now, 10% depends on the circumstances in life. Means whatever you achieve, your aspirations, your money, your wealth, your power. Number 10, that only constitutes 10%. And we spend almost 90% of our lives, running after that, running after achievement, money, power. But that actually makes up only for 10%. What is this 40%? Now, 40% is the kind of practices and the strategies which can increase our happiness. And she has outlined around 10 or 12, among which are very simple things which can be done by anyone. Things like, gratitude, optimism, positive emotions, savoring and, tuning into the good, then about self compassion, helping others, all these very simple practices. So, what I would kind of the advice which I would like to offer people is that, first of all, just see, find out, be more aware of what are the things that make you happy. What are the things that bring flow into your life? Like flow is one of the 12 things which she has outlined. And flow can be something which you are very passionate about. Although it may not always translate into a job or your money, but you have to bring all these things into your life. And at the end of the chapter, I'll just summarize the chapter by this topic by saying few points which I found out in my journey, what brings me happiness I've shared. Among one is aligning with the present moment, we're not resisting it, being in the present moment. That is one of the most important thing. Not only being present, but also accepting things the way they are without resisting it, saying yes to this moment, which doesn't mean that you can't change things, but there has to be an inner acceptance. Then the arising of space. Space is an important part, and it formed an important part of my journey. And we can increase space. We'll talk about it also, about various things like meditation, mindfulness. Then cultivating of positive emotions, which I've described in a chapter on awe, wonder, flow. We can make it a habit. Cultivation of various habits which can lead to positive emotions, habits of small habits of, again, mindfulness, meditation, savoring, cultivating compassion, and flow or engagement, whatever we discussed about what you're really passionate about. These are the things which I have found in my life, and everyone is free to experiment, to read about it and see what resonates with them.